we're back to you, everyone. Welcome back to the program, Business Morning here on Channels Television. Now, a rousing welcome for Nigeria's President Goodluck Jonathan Thursday, downtown Lagos at the Stock Exchange. The President unveiled the Stock Exchange's new mobile trading platform, XGen, and had an interactive session with the market community, including some business leaders. But the President wasn't alone. He was accompanied by a number of government officials from the Finance Ministry and, of course, the Governor of the Central Bank. Let's listen to some part of what the President says, as well as the Minister of State for Finance, Bashir Yuguda, and the Central Bank Governor, Godwin Emefiele.
After revision, and we see that we have the biggest GDP on the continent, a GDP of about $510 billion, above $1 trillion. And we believe that for that kind of a GDP, what we earn as a government from tax is supposed to be much, much higher than we're earning. And even today at the floor, the brokers raise an issue that if our GDP is the biggest in the continent, why is that our capital market is not also the biggest? And it gave a scenario. America is the biggest GDP in the world, and of course the capital market is also the biggest. South Africa, when they were number one in the continent, the capital market was also number one. So why should in Nigeria our GDP would be the number one, then our capital market, they are talking about second or third or fourth. So something is wrong somewhere. We believe very clearly that government and you need to work together to look at these areas. There are leakages, for example, probably some of the companies that are operating in this are not really disclosing properly what they're supposed to disclose. Companies that are ordinarily supposed to be listed in the stock market are not being listed, so the operations are not as transparent as supposed to be. And I think government will, it's an area that I don't want to say much, I don't want to be misquoted. This is a delicate time for us. But let me reassure you that really it's an area that we'll collectively look into it.
Excellency, yes, it is low because our economy has grown bigger. That is one of the challenges that we face after the revision. But Excellency, if we look at what we're trying to do to show up, the tax to GDP ratio has gone to threefold: disclosure, compliance, and enforcement. And that is what we have told the Federal Inland Revenue to do. There is no question of you are evading or you don't want to pay your tax, and then they are chasing you, and then you run to the president. It doesn't happen, it will not happen. So, Your Excellency, we thank you for the support so far you are giving us to discharge our duties in tax collection. We believe very soon the tax to GDP ratio will be commensurate with the size of our economy. It's a challenge, and that's what we want to resolve.
What will we do in terms of asking telecom companies to list? And of course, the power companies, the Gencos and the Discos, what are we doing about maybe to list them also? And of course, some of the energy companies, I believe it was not particularly mentioned. These are areas we have actually been working on. I remember when we were in South Africa, when I had the state visit there, we met myself and MTN booked to a courtesy call on me, and one of the key things we raised with the economy was the need for them to list. And we are working hard to make sure that companies that are supposed to list. And that is the only way Nigerians can participate in some of these companies. And the next area, this government don't want to do things that will range. Why even our economic management team, we bring key players in the private sector to work with government. We bring the regulators, the private sector, and of course those of us who implement or look at things. After we agree, then we pass on to the implementation committee to look at it again how to be implemented in a way that will not affect a Nigerian. So these issues you've listed, definitely if we take the power companies, I believe as they grow bigger, they will list. And government may come up with some guidelines, but I cannot announce anything now because it's only proper for a government to, first of all, study some with the technical aspect before you make political enforcement on it. But we definitely encourage most of these companies to list and create conditions that to make sure that for you to benefit from government in some areas, of course, you must also do certain things properly. So I believe we'll give you what you want. The third issue was about the GMO. I didn't actually raise the question. I have to thank you for telling us the result of our visit already and appreciating our comment. We'll continue to partner with the private sector. Well, that is my belief. That is the belief of the government. We are moving away from where government would be the best manager of companies, would be the best investor. The situation where government will just give the enabling environment for the private sector to manage the economy. So we must work with you, and we will continue. The next one they ask is the DG of the Security and Exchange Commission. I will not give you exact date, but I know that it will not be beyond April, so we must appoint somebody. You are the owners of that. So those of you who have names, just write it and pass on to me, so that I will now subject it to analysis. I don't have anybody in mind, but if you think there are competent Nigerians that you know, give me the names. We'll consider them, so that probably this is the best place to even collect such names, so that we'll announce the person quickly. I don't want somebody to act for too long, but at that time we felt that it's better to act.
What we have tried to do is to develop a scenario-based approach to our budget system. That at each point in time that we have challenges, we have a certain approach to the particular problem we are having. The problem we are having on the current expenditure has to do with three issues. One, due to the increase in the salary wages in the country. Secondly, the more we increase salary, the more we also have to increase the pension that goes with that. Third, we are also confronted with the issue of military pension. That also has to be taken into consideration. So obviously there will be deficit, and in the process of that, I think the question has to do with what do we do. Well, like you know, federal government of Nigeria has always been meeting its obligation when it comes to meeting up with our bond obligations, and we believe the market can attest to that.
As a result of the drop in commodity prices, no doubt oil and gas or crude oil is affected. We've seen drop in our revenue earnings, and of course, while at the same time there's still pressure on the demand for foreign exchange. And a couple of people have asked me, are we considering capital control? And I had said to very clearly and succinctly that capital control is not an option, because we want to continue to make the market a free entry and a free exit market where people are free bringing your money. If you see the investment climate is positive for you, you bring your money today, and tomorrow you decide that you want to cash out because you made profit from your investment, you are allowed to do so. So capital control is not an option.
All right, one major statement from President Jonathan's visit to the trading floor was that a new helmsman, a woman, will be in place at the SEC next month. But as an acting head of the commission, Munira Grazo at the SEC right now. We'll talk about that after the break with Femi Awoyemi, market research analyst and CEO at Prosher Nigeria. Do join us.